Johnny from Uno Media here. In this video, we're going to teach you how to create an audience within the saved audience section for Facebook ads. So stay tuned. At Uno Media, we help companies grow and thrive using the latest tools, tricks, and online marketing techniques. From websites to automated sales funnels, social media content, and much more. We're constantly releasing new material on our YouTube channel, so make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you don't miss out. Just before we get going, I want to very quickly tell you about our exclusive offer. We are giving away free access to our paid Hub Uno platform for the first 50 people who click on the link in the description. This offer is going on all of our YouTube videos, so hurry and make sure you get your place. Within Hub Uno, we have created over 100 training videos in 13 courses, including a course on running successful Facebook ad campaigns. You'll also find recorded webinars and a host of other free content, so remember to click on that link in the description. Now let's get on with the video. Having set up your Facebook pixel, the next thing you need to do is decide on the audiences you want to target with your ads. As I've mentioned, and will keep bringing up during this course, there is no easy win here. You'll need to test out several audiences to see which have the best conversion rates. In Facebook ads, an audience is simply defined as a group of users that your ad could potentially reach. In most cases, your audience will be much larger than reach because your ad spend will only allow a certain amount of impressions per day. Some people choose to set up their audiences within their ads, but we find it easier to set them up beforehand. These are called saved audiences. It is also easier to manage audiences this way. As you start testing out multiple audiences and running multiple ads, potentially retargeting as well, you are going to need a well-maintained audience list. Let's have a look at how you create saved audiences. You'll start in Business Manager home screen and you'll see in the top left there's a hamburger menu. If you click down on that, you'll see that one of them is the audiences. So you've got Ads Manager, Business Settings, Events Manager, Billing, Images and Video, and Audiences. And click through to your audiences. The first thing you'll see is this part, which is all about creating a lookalike audience. Now we don't need to create this, and I'll be going through it in another video and another lesson, so we can just click this arrow to get rid of it. What we want to do is click Create Audience. Now we want to do a saved audience, which might sound strange because you think it's an audience already created, so is it saved? But we want to create an audience and it will be saved afterwards. That's the way of thinking about it. So if you click on that, so this is what it will look like to start off your saved audience. And it starts up top with naming your audience and your potential reach. And this is how many people it's going to reach, 44 million. And that sounds a bit low for Facebook because they've got an awful lot more users than that. The reason it's lower is because currently we're targeting people in the United Kingdom. Now, as soon as we start targeting people, this audience reach will decrease. So say, for example, gender, if we click men, that will go down to 21 million people. So what we've got to do is use these options to start narrowing down your suggestions and trying to get that as small as possible. So I'll go through the options first, and I'll create an audience and show you the process. So the first thing we got is people living in or recently in this location, people living in this location, people recently in this location, or people traveling in this location. So this is the first thing I'd suggest you look at. Now, most of the time you're going to say people living in location. You don't want people who are potentially just passing through. But maybe you want to do people traveling in this location if, say, for example, maybe you've got a shop or you're within a tourist industry, something along those lines. The next thing is location, and you can bring it down location and put whatever you want in there. So say, for example, we've got the UK, which is 44 million. Now let's say, for example, I grew up in Woolacombe in North Devon, so let's try and target that area. So as you can see, as soon as you type it in, it's got a number of options which we can do. We're going to do Woolacombe, England, United Kingdom. Okay, and if I zoom in on this map, you'll see here that it says Woolacombe, England, plus 25 mi. Now that obviously means plus 25 miles. So if we have a look at this map, we are going to be targeting people who live around this area. Keep going down. Okay, so it's around there, up into Exmoor, down through Barnsport, and quite far down here. So I'm thinking, okay, let's say I've got a shop in Woolacombe and I'm looking to just attract people who are maybe travelling to Woolacombe. So people living or recently in this location, I'm going to change that to, let's say, people travelling in this location, because maybe I'm going to potentially want to pick up people who are travelling to the beach that day. Now I'm going to bring that location down a little bit. 25 miles seems a little bit far. I'm going to set it to, let's say, somewhere near sort of 15 miles. So try and get that spot on. Okay, now it sees, as you can see up here, it's taken it down to 2,400 people we're now targeting. So people travelling in Woolacombe. Now this is the age bracket where you can think, okay, what age group am I looking for? Now the way we usually run our audiences is we choose a group in a certain area and with certain interests, and then we look at how the data comes back. So when the data comes back, you might see that your ads are mostly clicked by people who are 35 to 45, or it might be people who are, older or younger than you think. We would advise, unless you've got a really good idea of what your demographic is, you kind of keep it at this age range and see what data comes back. So it might surprise you. But if you really know, say for example, if you really know people you're targeting in Woolacombe in this location are between the ages of 18 and 35, put that in. And then you can obviously target men or women on there. And then you can say enter a language. Now if you go over the little I here, it says only when a language isn't common in that location. So say for example, if you had some sort of business that maybe targeted foreign overseas students within the UK, they would maybe be looking at adverts and speaking a language that obviously isn't native to the United Kingdom, so you might want to target that language. Now this is where Facebook can become very useful and a tiny bit scary. This is where it's collecting the information of your interests and your behaviours and your demographics. So say for example, if we're targeting people in this area who maybe are interested potentially in ice cream, if we have an ice cream shop. So we can type in here. We can type in here ice cream. Now it shows how many people on the right are interested in that. So we've got 188 million. So we can click that suggestion. And that makes the audience down again to fewer than 1,000 people here. Now sometimes audiences don't run if they've got fewer than 1,000 people. You might be looking for something a little bit larger than that one. Now let's say we're going for a different type of business. Let's say rather than this, we'll get rid of this and we'll just put location as the United Kingdom. And we're looking for people who are simply living in this location. So we've now got 5.8 million. Now the reason it's 5.8 million is we're looking for people in the United Kingdom who are interested in ice cream. So we can get rid of that one. Now let's say for example on this one you're maybe looking for someone who are interested in a certain sport. So they're interested in, let's say, rugby. So you could do that for rugby, and that has put the audience size to 2.6 million people interested in that. You can also search things like, loads of things like, for example, magazines. So if you're targeting people that are interested in business, you could maybe look up a certain magazine and saying, okay, people who are interested in entrepreneurial magazines or potentially interested in TED Talks, something along those kind of lines. Okay, so we are looking for people in the United Kingdom who are interested in rugby, and we're looking for maybe people who are going to pay for tickets to a rugby match. So we maybe are looking for people who are older than 18. Maybe we're going to say people who are 30 plus and who are interested in rugby, just to start it off. And then down here you can also say add connection type. So for adding connection type, you can target people who have liked your Facebook page or friends of people who liked your Facebook page, or don't show adverts to people who like your Facebook page. Following this, all you need to do is name your audience. And that button there comes up saying create saved audience. So that's an audience that you can then use. Here's an audience we have set up. It's SBO, which means Small Business Owners within the UK. And this is one of our saved audiences. Now, the reason I mention this is I'm going to come back to this saved audience later to show you how you put it in one of your ads once you've created it.